Hi, this is John Linneball of John Linneball Tutoring, and this is How to Study for the SAT and ACT American Idiom Part 1, Greatest Hits and More. And you can see here's my contact information if you'd like to email, call, or just look at my website. Feel free to send me texts on my cell phone if you like. So, what on earth is idiom anyway? There's a reason I played that little Green Day clip at the beginning. Idiom sounds a lot like idiot. It's a coincidence, but much like an idiot, idiom often doesn't make sense. So here's the definition I have. A group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deducible from those of the individual words. That is something like rain cats and dogs or see the light. If something's raining cats and dogs, it means it's raining really hard, not that pets are falling from the sky. See the light. Yes, everybody who's not blind can see the light, but I mean that you understand something. So there are some things that are different in different English-speaking countries. For example, British and Australian YouTubers often use different to on their videos, or in their videos, I should say, rather than different from or different than, which is the American idiom. And since the SAT and ACT are both given by U.S. companies and meant for U.S. college admissions, they generally use American idiom. Idiom is related to addiction, or excessive idiom use can lead to addiction. Ha ha ha, I know that's a horrible pun. But another way to see this is basically idiom is just a way of saying things. It's part of diction. Diction can be defined as a style of speaking or writing determined by the choice of words by a speaker or writer. Diction or choice of words often separates good writing from bad writing. It depends on a number of factors. Firstly, the word has to be right and accurate. That's a direct quote from literarydevices.net/diction, accessed on October 18th, 2018, also known as today when I'm recording this. Diction is an important part of setting the correct tone in your writing, and I'll do a separate video on this later. Selecting the correct words, that is proper diction, is very important, and knowing the proper idiom for your audience you are addressing is part of proper diction. So, idiom's greatest hits. We know that an idiomatic phrase, an idiom consisting of more than one word, may be difficult or impossible to understand simply by understanding its words. Let's look at ones involving the word hit, which normally means to strike something violently, punch, slap, etc. So to hit the books is to go and study. It's not actually whacking a book with a ball-peen hammer, as they show in this little picture here. Hit the bricks, you're leaving a building. You can see a lot of streets are actually made out of bricks, so that's probably where it came from. You tell somebody to get out of a building, hey pal, you gotta hit the bricks right now. Hit the sack doesn't mean you're whacking a sack with a stick or something. It means you're going to the bed. Sack is a slang term for a bed. Sleeping bag, etc., which makes sense since a sleeping bag is a sack. So hitting the sack is going to sleep. Now we're heading for some more hits. When you hit the head, that means to go to the toilet. Head is an old Navy term for the toilet. It goes back to the days of ancient ships where you had to have a place where you could go to the bathroom. Hitting the nail on the head is to state something absolutely correctly. It's not actually hitting a nail on its head, or it's not definitely not driving a nail into somebody's head. Oh my God. It means you're completely right. So when you're driving a nail, you want to hit the nail squarely on the head, otherwise you'll bend the nail, or ow, you might hit your thumb. Nobody likes that. And the hits keep coming. To hit the skids is to enter a state of decline and failure. So it's to suffer. After Bob lost his job, his life really hit the skids. You can see also Skid Row, and by Skid Row I definitely do not mean this awful 1980s hair metal band here. But I do mean neighborhoods such as this. This is an actual official neighborhood in Los Angeles as defined in an appellate case in Jones versus City of Los Angeles. So this is officially Skid Row. You can actually find this on Google Maps, which is what I'm doing right now. That's all I did is Google Skid Row and go to the Maps section. So it's basically a place where the homeless and indigent tend to congregate. I ran into Bob outside a soup kitchen on Skid Row. Poor Bob. So Skid Row is called Skid Row because in logging towns and logging camps there were actual skids, kind of little railroad track type things, made out of logs that they would slide much bigger logs down so they could get them to the sawmill. And people who were indigent, alcoholic, etc. would end up sleeping by the skids because that was a place that wasn't occupied at night. So they would end up on Skid Row. And here's a picture of LA's Skid Row with a little street mural with an official a quote official Skid Row sign. Obviously, that wasn't placed there by the city. More positive hits. The opposite, of course, of Skid Row is hit, meaning a success. If a play, song, book, or movie is a hit, it's popular and successful. One of the most popular record albums of all time is Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, which was released in 1973, and I know as late as 1998 was still on the charts in the top 500. So that's an extremely popular record album. Then we have things like greatest hits. Almost every record album by a band that's had a few record albums is called greatest hits. Well, I don't mean every record is called greatest hits. I mean every band has a greatest hits album that's going to have the best songs from their other albums on it after they've been around for a few years. A smash hit is an extreme hit, which, for example, is Jimi Hendrix's Smash Hits album, which had a bunch of his hits on it. Jimi Hendrix is one of those great artists who unfortunately died way too young, and as a result has actually had more greatest hits album released than albums of original material. Moving on to the next thing. A baseball hit. So if you're not American and you're not from a country where baseball is commonly played, like Japan or Cuba or the Dominican Republic, you might not get a lot of baseball metaphors, so it's really important that you understand these things. A hit can first be a successful contact with the ball where the bat actually hits the ball like that, and the ball actually goes towards the field but doesn't go outside the area where it's in play. You see these white lines here that I'm pointing at? That's the foul line. The ball has to be between those lines that roughly form a V shape, form kind of a diamond, an edge of a diamond. This is a baseball diamond here. So, if you've hit the ball, boom, you've succeeded. If you hit the ball out of the park, as you can see in this cartoon, you've succeeded completely and wildly because it's an automatic home run when you hit a ball out of the park, because the fielders who have to grab the ball and either catch it in the air or grab it and touch you with it can't do it if the ball is no longer in the park. A grand slam home run is when there are already 3 people on these bases here, and then the batter hits it, and boom, that's 4 runs in one home run. It's called a grand slam. Here you see some baseball players celebrating their grand slam since it was hit out of the park. So, hey, we get to all walk to home base and strut and show off. Another metaphor of baseball is not every hit has to be a home run. Even small achievements can help you achieve your goal. And on the opposite is you'll never get past first base at this rate. If you just get to first base, you haven't gotten home, you haven't scored, and if you're not really showing any progress towards your goal, someone might say you'll never get past first base at this rate. Another kind of hit is hitting the town. Just as in hit the bricks, hit the town means to go out in the town, which is itself an idiom for going out in the city for recreational purposes, to go to nightclubs, restaurants, theaters, etc. So hit it! Let's get going. That's something that you see in the Blues Brothers, as we can see here in this clip from that classic movie.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
So here are some more mature hits. If you're familiar with the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America's movie rating system, these are a little more R-rated. These probably won't be on the SAT, but you should know them if you plan to study in the United States. First of all, to hit on someone is to flirt with someone or to proposition a person romantically or sexually. Probably not going to be on the SAT again, but you'll need to understand it if you're going to understand Americans when they're talking to you. So here's a guy saying, "Hey girl, feel my sweater. No, it's made of boyfriend material." And that itself is kind of an idiom for somebody who would make an appropriate boyfriend for someone, their material. Here are a few more memes that I found that illustrate my point, literally. "Hey girl, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Because heaven is approximately 1,903,18 feet from the ground, not to mention the square miles of our galaxy." So there's Wolowitz from The Big Bang Theory. And then here's this guy, Brian, I think is his name. He's the guy who, no matter what he does, he messes it up. Tried hitting on a cute girl, got assault charges. So, oops, poor Brian. Anyway, so hitting on someone is flirting with them. Mature hits continued, I'd hit that or I'd hit it. When used to describe a human being means I would like to have sex with that person. It's slang you won't find on the SAT because it's sexual, but it's worth knowing. It's not proper English and it's not nice to refer to a human as that or it, but it is what it is. And McDonald's famously made themselves look stupid by not knowing what it meant, and they came up with this gem of an ad where the guy's looking at a double cheeseburger saying, I'd hit it. And the Boondocks comic strip said McDonald's is trying to appeal to a young urban demographic, and I think they're a bit confused. Can you even do that with a cheeseburger? Well, maybe you could take it apart, split the buns or something, but I'm not going to go any further with that. Then there's finally the dangerous kind of mature hit. A hit can also mean a murder for hire. A hitman is a professional assassin for hire, as popularized in movies, novels, and television shows for at least the last 50 or 60 years. It could possibly be on the SAT or the ACT. American society is such that violence is much more acceptable than sexual content when children are exposed to it, or even teenage kids. So that is what it is. You may learn about violence, but probably won't be any sex. And here we have Disaster Girl, another famous meme, when you place a hit. So apparently she had a grudge against somebody and decided to put a hit out on them. Alright, that's all I have for right now for the American Idiom regarding hits. I will come out with more American Idiom videos. I would love it if you like this video. Please thumbs up, please comment, please contact me, and I will talk to you later. Have a good day.